What was the initial challenge you were facing when you first joined Unshakeable You? Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, I was fortunate that I'm in a real estate group, and you go along to these things and you get all geared up about it, and you come away and everything kind of falls in a heap. Anyway, a friend of mine whose wife is in this program, I was very fortunate that I happened to mention
Yeah.
when speaking with a group of friends that one of my goals for the next 12 months was to commit to doing my pelvic floor exercises. Anyway, one of the friends, a guy, he called me 2 days later and he said, "Hey, Maria, this might sound a bit weird, but do you mind me having a conversation about your goal of doing your pelvic floor exercises?" And I thought, okay, this is a bit random. And anyway, so he asked me, why I was doing it, and he shared with me that his wife Julie had had a prolapse, and that she had found your program and had had great results. So he said, look, it may or may not be for you, but, have a look, see what you think. So I went online, I had a look, I saw what I thought, and I thought, you know what? There's something that's really telling me just to take a step. And so I took the step, lined up the interview, did the interview, and I just thought, you know what? It was just this gut feeling like, yeah, take this on. And how crazy was that my friend Wyatt, male, happened to refer me to a pelvic floor program. And so I took the leap of faith, and very happy that I did.
Oh, wow. Isn't it amazing how you found your way here? I mean, just
Mm,
incredible. Yeah.
yes.
And tell us all about the kind of prolapse you had when you started and how it's looking now. 6 months in, right? Because you started in July.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, what had been going on for the past few years, to be honest,
Mm.
um, I I was walking along one day and thought, oh gosh, what's wrong with me? That feels odd.
Yeah.
And came home, went to the bathroom, and discovered that I had bits hanging out of me that I didn't think would be hanging out of me. And so, of course, that was of great concern. And I had heard about prolapse, where your organs can come out your body, but never for a minute did I think that my situation was as bad as that.
Mm.
So I made an appointment with a gynecologist ASAP and went and got checked out. And sure enough, yes, she confirmed that I had this prolapse. And at that time, this is going back 2 years or more.
Mm.
And the route of first choice was to put in a pessary, which helped. It did help. It did help. However, I felt like it was just a short stop solution, but I was happy. I had a solution to the problem, and I'm just the kind of person like quick fix. Yep, I'm okay. Um, Problem sorted. But then what happened was I had made the decision that I would go back, and I took the type of pessary that didn't need to be taken out every day or anything, and I would go back and get a grease and oil change. And so when I went back to the gynecologist, she took the pessary out, washed it, asked me how I was going. I said it was working, and then popped it back in, but it never sat right again. And so then began this whole ordeal, and I call it an ordeal because trying to come up with a pessary that worked. And
Yeah.
anyway, I tried multiple. It might work for a couple of days and then become very uncomfortable. And I was very limited in my physical movement. And I'm a very physical person. I'm not the kind of person to go to the gym, do big runs or anything like that, but I absolutely love my gardening. I have a dog, walk my dog, walk with friends. Um, My job involves me lifting and carrying things. So it was like, oh, this is awful. This is so not me. So then I went back to the gynecologist, and her first thing was to say, well, I needed surgery. I found out because it's funny how your ears prick up to other things when you're in these situations. And I discovered that a friend at work had had the surgery, and she was like, oh, like 6 weeks, I couldn't do anything. And I'm single mum, and I thought, there's no way I can take 6 weeks out of my life. So I thought, I've got to find another way. And then I was recommended a pelvic floor physiotherapist who was absolutely delightful and just had a whole new take on it, and just offered me an alternative through the exercises that she was giving me. And I just thought, oh, wow, I'm so lucky to have exercises in pelvic floor. And so began the daily exercises. And I was doing that for a few months. And I would say there was some improvement, but not out of this world. And so then it was through this conversation that I was talking about, yes, I'm going to commit to these exercises and get a different result, that conversation came up. And so then I was in the world of like, oh, okay, well, Jenny and Duncan are offering a completely different approach here. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do what they recommend, because they're not only offering a result with my pelvic floor, they're offering, well, you say that you can give results in many areas of your life that you're prepared to take a look at. So I thought, yeah, I'm just going to do.
Yeah.
And I must admit, the money and, I've done a process, and sudden it was like, hang on a minute, this is crazy. My prolapse seems worse than ever. And I just thought, what's going on? And I was really like, oh gosh, like what's happened? Oh, I've paid this money and I'm actually not even getting a better result. I've gone backwards. And it was just confusion. And it was almost like I didn't even tell any of my friends what I was doing, because it was like, they won't understand. They'll think it's a little bit woo-woo.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, just stick to your pelvic floor exercises. But then the penny dropped in one of our Friday phone calls. I thought, you know what, Maria, you're kidding yourself. Yep, you paid the money, but you're not actually following through. Like, just because you start something, you're not going to get an immediate result. And what's this telling you? That you've actually got a bit worse. And I really got to see for myself that how many times have I done that, where you pay for something and you think it's a magic. It's just going to happen because you paid for it.
Totally.
And then I thought, here's the opportunity. Like, Maria, really commit to this, do the work.
Yeah.
So that's when I really took on being open. I think it was more not even just doing the work. It was like being open to these processes that made the difference for me. And doing the processes with the intention of just actually nothing, coming from nothing. Whereas before it was like, well, if I do this process, it'll get better today. And so I just stopped looking. I stopped looking for the result. And I felt much better. Are there days when I feel like, oh, there could be days when I feel like, oh, I really got a bit of a bulge down there. But I check and there's nothing. There's nothing. It's like
Yeah.
I've been in such a world of expectation of
Yeah.
um, there's something wrong. And so, what I have done and what I will continue to do is go back to my uh, prolapse, my pelvic floor physiotherapist,
Yeah.
because I told her on the next visit what I was doing. And she's like, oh, okay. And I think there, was this little twinge of like, oh, okay, you don't need me anymore. And I
Yeah.
said, but I'll absolutely be coming back to you
Yeah.
because I want you to be able to share my success and measure me that it's not all in my head
Yeah.
and get the results. So then she's like, oh, tell me more about this program.
Yeah.
Um, so she and I knew that she was that kind of person that
Yeah.
if there's something there that's going to give me the result, she would be 100% supportive of that. So I was very excited, as was she, on my last visit. She gave me all my readings and she said, no, it's not in your head. You've definitely improved. Yeah. So that was the best news.
That's amazing. So it because that prolapse had fully exited your body, right? You've been graded at a grade 4. And then I think you said
Correct.
it went up to a 2.5, which is, such a huge improvement in such a short
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah. And I can say 100% hand on heart, my physicality has improved enormously
Yeah.
because what I experienced before too was not just the bulging,
Yeah.
but pelvic pain.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
pelvic pain.
Wow.
Last week, I was helping my niece move house, which involved being very physical.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I was tired, but I wasn't in pain. And even the next morning, I woke up and I wasn't at all. So, yeah, that is testament that a
Yeah.
huge improvement.
That's incredible that you did, because I remember you saying how much pelvic pain you had, and to be doing
Mm,
that amount of physical work and not having pelvic pain, oh my goodness,
mm, mm.
unbelievable.
Yes, so in terms of my physicality with, I mentioned before, I love my gardening. I have a very big garden. I mow the lawn, lift the heavy catcher, all those sorts of things before I would do them because I need to do them and I'm determined to do them. But typically, I would have pelvic pain following that type of exercise.
Congratulations. I was to say
Yes,
that's incredible. Congratulations. That must feel amazing and freeing.
very freeing, very freeing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have a little question from someone in here. Somebody said, so this is a lady who's in her 60s. She said, I hope you don't mind this question, Maria, but she wants to know, how did you find doing the emotional work, um, being a little bit older, was her question.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. What I love about the emotional work is that it's it's just like it solves the problems of the world. And in doing that and getting out of the drama,
Mhm.
like I never realized how much time and energy is is lost in drama and repeating problems and all of that. So being able to, on your own, do the activity, but then the beauty of it is there's through the resources of Facebook and in the actual find the situation where others are dealing with that same, may not necessarily be the same problem, but the same feeling around issues. And one of the beautiful things that I've absolutely loved
Yeah.
is that I am one of the older ones in the group, and there's all these young women who are dealing with stuff that, yes, was I dealing with it at that age? But, and so I think, oh my goodness, girls, hang in there, do this program. If only I had it at your age. But the real benefit of being in a program like this, where there is variety of age,
Yeah.
is that I'm learning stuff from these girls because they mention about situations with their own parents and stuff, and I can totally relate. And so it's had me
Wow.
see it from the child's point of view, adult child's point of view, and not having this massive expectation on them. And
Yeah.
has that massively changed our relationship? I don't know. It's not like I'm nagging and I'm not this and I'm not for them to step into or not.
Yeah.
I'm the mum. I don't have to be their best friend all the time. You go do you. And I am your mum. So call me anytime.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, that's a big change. And I do notice around me how much some of my friends expect of their kids. And I just think
Yeah.
they're living their own lives. Let them go live their lives. And when I think of what I was like, um, so my daughters are in their early 20s,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, wow, I was just off living life. I was, 1,500 miles from home. Was I worrying what my parents were doing? Was I checking in on them? No. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
So that's
powerful.
what
And
I've loved too.
yeah, I never thought it that way, that through the younger women, you would be able to see in your own adult children's perspective. That's so powerful because when in life do you actually get to do that? That's a really incredible.
Not very often. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even just handling, we've just celebrated Christmas. Um, and my younger daughter, um, and so they always, I had an expectation on Christmas Day, Nonna's going to be with us. So, please, you and Jackson, make sure you stay. And she's like, oh, but. And it's a tradition that they go to one of the boyfriend's families, sunrise it, fair's fair. Oh, all right. Now I took that as okay, they wouldn't leave. But
Yeah.
on the night, they announced that they were leaving. And I looked at her and she looked away. And I thought, you know what? It's okay. We've had a really lovely time. Don't
Yeah.
be a drama queen now, mum. They
Yeah.
came, they were there. Let them
Yeah.
go. They're young.
Yeah.
So that would not have been happening.
Huge.
I would have really, been the in that moment. And it
Yeah.
was just like, you know what? Acknowledge they were here. They came and we had
Yeah.
fun. So just
Yeah.
focus on what was fun. Mm,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I guess before you would have worn that
Doesn't have to
tension.
look like Facebook.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah. And I guess before you would have worn that
Oh,
tension
yeah.
on your pelvic floor,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Definitely. I do have a sense of, well, you can only describe it as lightness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even this last week, I've been dealing with a situation where I'm the youngest by a
Right.
long gap in our family. And so one of my elderly sisters who's been living on her own, and she has the beginnings of dementia and she can no
Right.
longer live on her own. So we've been helping transition her. That's really tough, obviously very tough for her. It's like we can do not. Yeah. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just around it, um, like I know with the benefit of what I've been doing in the program, is feeling really comfortable to set boundaries.
Amazing. And how would it have been different before, Maria? So now you feel comfortable setting these boundaries. What would have happened before?
Um, two emotions that would have been very prominent would have been anger and frustration.
Yeah. Another lady is asking, which areas emotionally did you work on the most to get that kind of result in your pelvic floor?
Family,
Yeah.
family.
Was that number one, would you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even, for example, I mentioned before I'm single, I'm separated, but I've always been committed to having for the sake of the family. But through this program, weirdly, I'm actually kind of happy to have a relationship with him for the sake of keeping the family together, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's like
totally.
there's a calmness that I can actually um, inquire how his work's going. Just
Yeah.
today, I sent a message in our WhatsApp family group, which I started through this program. I thought, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a
Wow.
communication aspect that everyone can see what's being said. So it's time saving. You don't
Yeah.
have to check in with this one. Are you available? Doing this, doing that. So I think I've become far more productive. And one of the things that I'm really learning to do
Yeah.
is because the world, everyone has their opinions on everything. And
Yes.
it's like I always want to kind of be proving that, oh, I'm doing okay, or I'm doing it right, or I got this result. And what I'm learning to do is just to shut up and just be okay with how I'm feeling and not
Yeah.
having to justify anything to anybody.
Mhm.
Like if
Wow.
I, yeah, yeah. And that's just learning to shut up because justifying it it takes a lot of energy. And why do I need to justify anything to anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
unless there's no impact on anyone else. I just don't have to justify. The other thing that I really want to focus going forward is not always feeling like I've got to rescue everybody. Yeah,
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah. It's like if people want to be rescued and ask for help, well, I'm happy to jump in. But what I found was I was taking on too much emotion, trying to make everything okay for everybody, and recognizing the exciting things that I want to focus on for this year is I want to create a business. Now, I don't know what that's going. Well, I have a little bit of a sense of what I think I I want it to look like, but there's a lot of investigation to be done.
Yes.
Um, and but I think it's now or never. I don't want to die wondering. Yeah. So at 61, nearly 62, I'm going to investigate creating a business,
Good for
an awesome
you.
business. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's why we made the program Lifetime Access, because Duncan and I sat down and we had this conversation. When these incredible beings heal their prolapses, it's not going to end there. When they get that level of confidence and alignment in themselves, then that's the sky's the limit now. So is that what you would say you've experienced?
Yes. And I thought about that too. I thought, oh, lifetime. Oh, that's interesting. But I really get that,
Yeah.
like for now, I'm tapping in quite a lot. And I imagine going forward, I might go off and do my own little bits and bobs, but coming back, always
Mhm.
having it there, being able to sessions with you if that is my desire or not,
Yes.
just to get that nudge along. And what I
Yeah.
also have taken from this program is really being open to that sense of being open to conversations and where you need answers to come from in life. So even yesterday, Greg's aunt, who I get on very well with, she's a young aunt. She phoned me and she said, "Oh, hi, are you back?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, what are you doing today?" "Oh," and she said, "Oh, the surf club's got something on." So we went off to this lunch, and it was this new venture of this lady who's designed this lunch that you might book out a table for 15 for your whole family, or
Right.
you might be happy to sat next to people. And we
Yes,
sat next
nice.
to this fantastic couple who they were out celebrating her birthday. And we started lunch at 12:30. It was just being open to people in a
Yeah.
whole new way.
And what would you say are some results that surprised you, Maria? Because obviously everybody has an expectation coming into the program, but what are some results that really surprised you?
My my openness to hearing now, it's just a call to being deserving. Being deserving. I deserve to have finances, great relationships. And it's, yeah, really, really getting that in my bones. That might
Yeah.
sound a little crazy, but I've never considered myself to not being deserving, but I'm really in the world of anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference. It's not that I don't think it's that I wasn't deserving or now I am deserving. I do see anything's possible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
that's the difference. So that's the surprise. And also from a physical point of view, like the fact that I can't tell you the aching pain that I would have on a daily basis. So
Wow.
if I was very physical in the day,
Yeah.
particularly with my job or on a big walk or sit down, and when and I don't have that pain anymore. If I do, it's on the rare occasion. Yeah. And I've told you about this, Jenny, but one of the things that I discovered was I've taken on that if ever I do feel a little bit of bulging, right,
Yes.
it's like, ooh, what do I need to process here? It's not like, oh, drama, drama, I haven't healed, I haven't healed. It's
Mm.
just like, oh, okay, there's a little message. There's a little message in that. And so even that, it's no longer a negative.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, that's what's happening today. I've really disappeared a lot of drama. Drama, yeah.
That's incredible because you're actually seeing the prolapse or what's left of it now as helpful, right? As pointing you in the right direction of what more of the work you have to do within yourself that's still left to do.
Yes. And it's also a reminder too that I need to be responsible for my health in the sense that, okay, well, what might be contributing to that? Have I been eating right? Have I drunk enough water? Like, oh, am I a little bit constipated? So I've
Yeah.
become a lot more aware of my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
And just taking responsibility around that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Without it being a restrictive thing. It's not restrictive. I don't see it as restrictive at all. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a change in a few months. Unbelievable. So proud of you.
Thank you.
We've got one last question from a lovely lady who is considering joining the program. She's in her late 50s and she's been following little bits of your story I've been sharing and she wants to know, she said, please ask Maria for me what's next. She's like, I presume, what did she write? I presume Maria believes she's going to fully heal the prolapse and what's next? I mean, you've talked about your amazing business goals for this year, but yeah, she wanted to know if there's anything else.
Yeah, I did think at one stage there about taking on something in terms of like copying Lisa and maybe doing city to surf or marathon or something. I'm not up for a marathon. I'll
Yeah.
leave that to Lisa. But
Yeah.
I did I did think about, yeah, I'm probably ready to do Sydney has this wonderful walk. People can walk, people can run, do
Wow.
whatever you like, city to surf. And I thought, yeah, that might be a fun thing to say to my daughters. Hey, do you want to do the city to surf this year together?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
from a physical point of view, but my real focus this year is this business idea, because I don't want to get stopped again. And I don't want to be in the world of taking on too many things
Yeah.
and dropping the ball on the main game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that
So if I
focus.
were to achieve that this year, I would be extremely happy. Yeah. And it's going to take something. And I know that through the support of this program,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a red hot crack. Yeah.
Well, Duncan and I have got your back, along with your unshakable fam.
Yeah. Thank you. And I get
Yeah.
so much from their sharing. I get
Yeah.
so much from their sharing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
a big shout out to all of them for their vulnerability. And it's, just being open to want to change.
Yeah.
Like, if you got the opportunity to have a better life, it's like,
Yes.
just do it. That's what I always say to everybody, Nike, just do it.
I love that. That was going to be my last question. What would you say? We've got a few people considering joining the program and they're just feeling a little bit nervous. And I guess just do it. What would you say to them?
Well, the situation that I was in when it was presented to me, I realized like it was just, I jumped in,
Yeah.
but I'm glad I didn't give it any time to mull over. And I get some people need to do that.
Yeah.
It took me longer to kind of, as I said, really doing anything to get the results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things will, I would say, just be reassured that if I can feel this way, you can feel this way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
And I should have added in, after 4 years, I'm open to organically meeting someone in my life.
I was hoping you might mention that.
I
Love it.
never, it wasn't that I was, I wasn't in the world of being a man hater or anything, but it was more around my own confidence
Yeah.
yeah. So, and look, I've had people knocking on the door, I might add, and,
Oh,
but it's just been, I've been no way. And look, that was the other thing. It was like, no, I don't have to take the first knock on the door
yeah. Good for
and be
you.
comfortable with, no, actually, I don't want to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship.
Absolutely.
It's like, well, what kind of person would I like to be in a relationship with? And that has, that's again, I'm so glad that I never rushed into anything.
Yeah.
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 So who
Wow.
knows what that might look like this year? Who knows?
Oh my goodness. I
It
love
may or
it.
may not happen.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Maria, thank you. I'm so excited for what 2025 is going to bring for you.
Yeah. So am
It's,
I.
wow. Congratulations and thank you from Duncan and I for everything you've done for yourself in the program. It's so inspiring for other people.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.